I'm 78 years old, and I'm telling you this because I don't have much time left to say it. I spent 50 years building something I thought mattered. And now, sitting here in this apartment that's too quiet, I can tell you exactly what it cost me. Her name was Eleanor. We met when I was 26. I was working at an accounting firm in Philadelphia, putting in long hours because I believed that's what you did. You worked hard. You proved yourself. You climbed. Eleanor worked at the library 2 blocks from my office. I used to go there on lunch breaks, not really for books, but because she was there. She had this way of listening that made you feel like what you were saying actually mattered. We got married in 1973. Small wedding. Her parents, my mother, a few friends. I remember thinking we had all the time in the world to do it again, bigger, better, when I'd made something of myself. I told her I was going to make partner by 35, that once I did, everything would slow down. We'd travel, we'd start a family. Properly, we'd have the life I promised her. She believed me. The problem is, I believed me too. I made partner at 34. I remember the day they told me. I called Eleanor from the office, told her we'd celebrate that weekend. Something came up that weekend, a client meeting. I rescheduled. We never did celebrate, because once you make partner, you realize partner isn't the top. There's senior partner. There are bigger clients. There's always another deal that needs you more than your wife needs you at dinner. Eleanor didn't complain much. That's what kills me now. She adapted. She built a life around my absence. She volunteered at the church. She took up painting. She had friends I never met. I thought that meant everything was fine. We'd have conversations in the morning while I read the newspaper. She'd tell me about her day, and I'd nod, but I wasn't listening. Not really. I was already at the office in my head, running through what needed to be done. She stopped telling me things after a while. I noticed briefly, but I told myself it was normal. Marriage settles. People get comfortable. I thought we were comfortable. We never had children. We tried for a few years in our early 30s, but it didn't happen, and by the time we could have looked into why, I was too busy. I told her we'd deal with it next year, then the year after, then it felt too late to bring up. She never pushed it. I think part of her knew I wouldn't have been there anyway. I was 52 when my mother died. Eleanor handled everything. The funeral arrangements, the relatives, the house sale. I showed up for the service and went back to work 2 days later. I thought I was being strong, resilient. Eleanor started painting more after that. She turned the second bedroom into a studio. I barely went in. There, I didn't understand art, and I didn't want to pretend I did. I wish I'd pretended. At 60, I retired. That was supposed to be it. That was supposed to be when we finally did all those things I'd promised. But when you spend 30 years not talking to someone, not really, you don't just pick it back up because your schedule cleared. We'd sit at dinner, and I wouldn't know what to say to her. I didn't know her favorite color anymore. I didn't know if she still liked the ocean or if she preferred mountains. I didn't know her, and the worst part is, she looked at me like she'd accepted that a long time ago. We had 15 years of retirement together. 15 years. Where I finally had time, and I didn't know what to do with it. I suggested trips. Europe, Asia. She'd agree, but without excitement. We went to Italy once. We barely spoke. We took pictures to prove we'd been there, but we were strangers on vacation. I kept thinking it would get better, that we'd find our way back. Eleanor got sick 3 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4 by the time they found it. She died 7 months later. I was with her at the end, holding her hand in a hospital room that smelled like disinfectant and something I can't name. She looked at me, and I thought maybe she'd say she forgave me, that she understood, that the 50 years meant something even if I'd done them wrong. She didn't say anything. She just closed her eyes. I don't think she hated me. I think that would have been easier. I think she just stopped expecting me to show up decades ago. And by the time I was ready to, she'd already built a life where I wasn't really necessary. The funeral was small, mostly her friends, people I'd met maybe twice. They told stories about her I'd never heard, about trips she'd taken with them, about art classes and book clubs and dinners. She'd lived a whole life I knew nothing about. I went through her studio after, boxes of paintings I'd never looked at, self-portraits, landscapes, some of me from behind, always walking away. There was a journal. I don't know if I was supposed to find it. She wrote about being lonely, not in a bitter way, just factual, the way you'd write about the weather. She wrote that she'd loved me, past tense. Years before she died, it was already past tense. I thought success meant I was doing it right. I thought providing meant loving. I thought she'd wait because I was worth waiting for. Nobody tells you that people stop waiting. They don't leave. They don't make a scene. They just quietly adjust to your absence until your presence doesn't change anything. I have money. I have a nice apartment. I have a reputation in a field that doesn't matter to anyone anymore, including me. I don't have Eleanor, and I don't have time to fix it. I'm not telling you this because I figured it out. I'm telling you this because I didn't. I wasted 50 years believing the next promotion, the next deal, the next milestone would be the one that let me finally live. It never was. If you love someone and you think you'll get to them later, you won't. Later is a lie you tell yourself until it's too late. I see people now, younger than I was, doing exactly what I did. Choosing the office, choosing the extra hour, choosing ambition because it feels like progress. It's not progress. It's just motion. Eleanor deserved better. She deserved a husband who saw her, who listened, who chose her, not once, but constantly. I gave her a man who was always about to show up. I'm 78 years old, and I'm running out of time to say much more. But if there's someone in your life you love, and you keep telling yourself you'll make time for them next month, next year, after this project, don't. You won't get this time back. I know because I'm sitting in it now, the time I can't get back, and it's so much quieter than I thought it would be.